Hey everybody, welcome to Neil Talks. My name's Neil and it's time to talk about some very exciting new shows coming to the channel. There's 3 parts to this announcement, so be sure you stick around for all 3 of them. I know most of you are here to see what my pilot week decisions are, but before we get into that, let's talk about some new shows. There's some new shows arriving in the world in the next couple of months that I'm incredibly excited for. I didn't include them in Pilot Week because there was nothing to react to yet, and these were also shows that no matter what, I wanted to react to. So, keep an eye out for these in the coming months. I'm super excited for each and every one of these. I hope there's a couple that you're excited for too. First of all, on Friday, August 5th, Netflix is launching The Sandman. It's based on, in my opinion, the best comic book of all time. It's the comic book that made me a comic book nerd back in the 90s. It changed my perceptions about what comics could be, and from everything I've seen so far, the trailers, the teasers, the behind-the-scenes discussions, it looks incredibly faithful to the books. The creator, the writer of the comic book, Neil Gaiman, who's gone on to do TV, movies, novels, he's attached as an executive producer, so I have faith that this is going to be great. Nevertheless, you're always a little nervous when one of your favorite things gets translated to film or TV. I'm a little bit nervous, but I am so psyched to see The Sandman on Netflix. So that will be airing on Neil Talks every Tuesday and Friday starting August 5th. Netflix is still doing the thing where they put all their episodes out at once, twice a week. Is something I think I can handle workload-wise on the channel, so that's how we're going to do it. Really excited for that one. Next, Sunday, August 21st, HBO is launching the Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon. I'm very interested to see how the public's going to receive this. Game of Thrones, as we all know, ended not perfectly. It was so great for so many seasons, and then it just kind of fell off a cliff. So I don't know if that Game of Thrones audience is ready to jump back on the bus or not, but I love the world of Westeros. I'm excited to see this latest work. It's the first George R.R. Martin work that I haven't read. I haven't read Fire and Blood, which is apparently what this is based on. This is about the Targaryens, hundreds of years prior. And from what we know of the Targaryens in A Song of Ice and Fire, they're a very messed up family, so I'm very interested to see what this one's all about. I'm excited to check it out. So I'll be reacting to that every Sunday starting August 21st. Wednesday, August 31st, Disney Plus is launching Andor, their next TV series based on Cassian Andor from Rogue One. We're going back in time from Rogue One, probably about the same time as the Rebels animated series, but we're going to see the rebellion in its early years and what drives Cassian Andor to where he is when we see him in Rogue One. It's a 12-episode arc for Season 1. They've already been approved for Season 2, so I'm excited to see a longer Star Wars series than what we've been getting lately, with 6 episodes for Boba Fett, 6 episodes for Obi-Wan. So we will be doing that every Wednesday starting August 31st. And my last of my new shows that I'm super excited for is the Lord of the Rings prequel, Rings of Power. That's going to be starting on Amazon Prime Friday, September 2nd. I'll be doing my best to get my reactions out to that every Friday. And again, super psyched. It's classic high fantasy, and I don't know anyone who's seen them that isn't a big fan of the Lord of the Rings movies. So seeing a television take on that is going to be really, really cool. Anyway, that's the first part of this announcement. Now we can get into what all you guys are waiting for, the results of my pilot week. Now, I kind of set myself up for failure on pilot week, guys, I think, because I did 15 shows, and in the perfect world, I was only going to end up picking 3 of them. And first of all, I want to thank everyone who participated in Pilot Week. Whether you just watched some of my reactions, whether you commented, whether you liked, whether you subscribed in anticipation, it means a ton to me. I love how vocal the fans of all these shows were. All of your feedback has just made me more excited to eventually see each and every one of these shows. So picking has been incredibly challenging. I've picked my shows. They're going to start coming out in the next week or two. Give me a little time, if you're on Patreon, to build up the episodes. I want to get you guys on Patreon ultimately 4 weeks ahead of the YouTube reactions. But that's going to take me a little bit of time. I've got a lot of work on my plate, but I will do it as quickly as I can. So here we go. First up, and I hope, before I make an announcement, I feel like no matter what I pick here, I'm going to be pissing some fans off. I know I'm going to be making other fans happy. I hope I'm picking at least one show that you're really excited for. But one of the things I've discovered is every single show I picked has a really passionate fan base. Like I said, I'm really excited to eventually see all of these. So first up, every Monday, starting July 11th, that's next week, I'm going to be reacting to the IT Crowd. Really excited for this one. Ton of feedback from my UK audience. I think it's accessible for the non-UK viewers that I have. And based on the first episode alone, I think it's going to be hilarious. My kind of humor. Psyched to jump into that one. Next, every Wednesday, starting July 13th, I'm going to be watching The Boys. Again, I love the more realistic take on superheroes. What would the world actually look like if people like this existed? I loved Watchmen, and I feel like The Boys is going to take that idea even further and run with it even further. And so I'm psyched to see what it's all about. That will be every Wednesday, starting next week. Third, I want to get into animation. And everyone's telling me one of the best ways to get into it is with Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's going to be my intro to anime light. I know it's not anime per se. It's made for an American network in South Korea, but I'm really excited to check out more of it. I hear the story's amazing, and yeah, that will be every Saturday, starting July 16th. I know I said I was only going to pick 3 shows, but I couldn't resist, so I am also going to be reacting to Rick and Morty every Sunday, starting on the 17th. So keep an eye out for those. Again, I'm a huge Dan Harmon fan. I loved Community. I'm looking forward to more of that style of humor, very wide-ranging humor, from potty humor to very meta intellectual stuff. I think it'll run the gamut. I love mocking stuff that I love, so I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with all these classic sci-fi tropes. Really excited to jump into that one. And I know I only said 3 and I just announced 4, but I'm a glutton for punishment. I couldn't say that I wouldn't watch this show, so I am also going to be reacting to The Expanse every Thursday, starting July 28th. So once I'm finished with Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'll start reacting to The Expanse. Based on just the pilot, it seems so smart. It seems like such an interesting world that's beginning to be built here. I'm ready to dive in. Really enthusiastic fan base that's convinced me that I need to see it all. So The Expanse, starting later this month. Keep an eye out for it. All right, those are the first 2 sections of this announcement. Finally, there were a couple of shows during Pilot Week that didn't quite fit with the theme, but nevertheless I really wanted to gauge what the response might be like if I watched Season 4 of Stranger Things and or Season 6 of Better Call Saul. And Perhaps not surprisingly, they didn't draw huge numbers to the YouTube channel. I haven't reacted to previous seasons. I was caught up on those shows long before I started the channel. So I don't think putting them on YouTube is the thing to do. I've also given myself a ton of work here, as you may be wrapping your head around. But as I said during Pilot Week, these are shows that whether I react to them or not, I'm going to watch them. I'm not going to wait a year or more to watch Stranger Things Season 4 or Better Call Saul Season 6. I'm going to watch them now. And I felt like that would be a waste if I didn't react to them at the same time. So I'm going to try something new. I'm only going to do my full-length reactions, and I'm only going to put them out on Patreon. I can edit a full-length reaction relatively quickly. Doing a YouTube edit takes much more time, so I can save myself some significant time by just keeping the full lengths on Patreon, and it'll be a bonus for those of you who are at the Neil Young tier or higher. If you already have access to my full-length reactions, you'll have access to Stranger Things Season 4 and Better Call Saul Season 6 as well. Those will start coming out in 2 weeks. So Stranger Things will be every Tuesday starting July 19th. And Better Call Saul will be every Friday starting July 22nd. I'm really excited to see how those are received on my Patreon. I just felt like I needed to reward my patrons with a little extra something, and this is it. And I'm rewarding myself too. I'm so psyched to get into these shows. I've been really holding back after seeing the pilots. I'm fully invested in these new seasons. And yeah, I'm psyched to jump into them. And if it ends up being a really well-received benefit on the Patreon, then we'll start talking about doing future shows that are also Patreon exclusives, full-length reactions, where you can see my entire reaction, uncut, unedited. So if you've added it all up, I've just given myself 11 new shows, guys. It's going to be a busy summer. It's going to be a busy fall, but I am so psyched for it. I'm excited to invite new people into the channel with these new shows. I hope there's enough for those of you who are already subscribers. I hope I've picked a couple of your favorites, and I'm really looking forward to the next few months discovering all these new shows, having a ton of fun with each and every one of you. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me. I've got to jump right into it. Thank you guys so much for your time today. Can't wait to see you in the coming weeks. Take care, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.